Welcome to the BXG podcast, the podcast where pop culture and nerd culture meet at the nexus of the universe and are melded as seamlessly as fast food chain restaurants and video game consoles. I am one of your hosts, Brenton Beswick, alongside my co-host, the soul man himself, Greg Filson. How are you this afternoon?
I'm doing well. It's still morning. Yeah, it's morning. This is a little weird for me. I'm sipping on my coffee here. It's great. I have the energy post my run and everything. So doing well. It's a nice day. It'll probably be in the 60s here. It's sunny. So it's good. It's a good day off.
BXG podcast hosts post every Friday, 7 a.m. on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Pandora, and other podcast services around the globe. Official BXG social media accounts on Facebook, facebook.com/BXG Podcast, at BXG Podcast on Twitter and Instagram, youtube.com/BXG Podcast, where I promise things are going to keep going up. It's been slow due to the holidays and just my own kind of laziness. We did, in last week's episode 15, we did our review of Wonder Woman 1984, so you can check that out if you have not. I only have two clarifications, and one of them isn't really a correction or clarification. It was just that there's no challenge episode this week to review. We're still going to do a challenge topic. There's not going to be a specific episode. And then the only correction I had was when I did the opening line. Max Lord's line is "Life's good, it can always be better," not "It's good, it can always be better." We have a great show tonight, this afternoon, this morning, wherever you are, whatever time zone. It's always 5 o'clock somewhere. But we have a great show tonight. Ben's Fold 5 is here.
Oh, wow. That's a good afternoon listen.
Ben's
Fold 5.
She's a brick. She is a brick.
What a song that is.
And I'm drowning slowly. We have one listener question from the top, and that's David S. from Carton City. It's been a while for David.
Yeah.
He must have been busy over the holidays. But David S. from Carton City writes in and asks, is Voldemort, the mass murderer of children, the greatest movie franchise villain?
No. Darth Vader is the greatest franchise villain. For me. But I think that's probably... I think everyone kind of goes, hello. Voldemort's a good villain. I'm not putting that down. He's a great villain. He's probably not even in my top 3 franchise villain. If the Joker counts as like a franchise villain, I love the Joker and things, just in general.
Here's the thing, and I'm going to answer this quickly and swiftly, and we're going to move on, okay? As you said, Darth Vader, scariest man in the galaxy, murdered toddlers,
yep. As
we have mentioned numerous times. Scariest dude in the entire galaxy. Voldemort couldn't even take over a high school. Get the f*** out of here. David S. from Carton City. I would even put, and you could put Thanos in there too.
You could put Shredder in there.
Yeah, you could put Lord Farquaad, for all I care, from Shrek. Or Sid from Toy Story.
Oh yeah.
Voldemort's fine. He's no Darth Vader.
No.
We have a great show today. We have our 6-pack, and we have the return of the clip of the week.
Woo!
And the always popular quick hitter segment. Number one, let's clarify. This is a slow week. We're really, we're scouring the sources of the things that give us topics and scraping at the bottom of the barrel here. There's no challenge episode this week, and we're still going to do a challenge episode. That's how slow of a week it's been. So we thought that given this is the first episode that we've recorded in the new year, that we're going to do some bold predictions for 2021. So we each have 5 lined up. It's kind of similar to the awards that we did in last week's episode. I do not know what Greg's bold predictions are. Greg does not know what my bold predictions are. So we just thought we'd have a little bit of fun with bold predictions for 2021. Do you want to start that off, or would you like me to?
I usually start things off. Why don't you start this off?
Okay. Number one, bold prediction for me is that I will step on a toy and it will impale my foot.
I don't know if that's a bold prediction.
Yeah. Yeah, I stepped on my son got this RC car, and it came with like traffic cones and stuff, and I've stepped on like 3 of those and just crushed them.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a high probability that something's just going to go at some point just straight through my bone and all. Just straight through my foot.
I still don't remember a pain as bad as just flat stepping on a Lego. That is excrucigating. Honestly, there's pieces of glass I've stepped on that didn't hurt as bad.
My thing is, like, for me, is I've gotten pretty adept at, like, once I start to step on something, to avoid it. But the issue there I run into is that because then I'm trying to make a quick adjustment, I'm very prone to rolling my ankle, and my ankles are really bad to begin with, so I can't afford to do that. But yeah, there's going to be a serious toy related injury in this house this year. I guarantee it.
That'll be a good pod segment.
Yeah.
Well, if we're gonna go, I'm all over the place with this. Shocking. But I'll go personal on this one. This is because I got an email last week, and I don't think I mentioned this at all in the pod, but Ford is re-releasing the Bronco, and I paid the $100 to be put on the list. And it's refundable if I decide to take it off, but I was like, man, I always wanted like a 70s Bronco when I was younger, and they're bringing this back, and that's like probably the closest I'll ever get to it. So I put my name down on it, and I got an email last week saying, oh, well, it's going to be delayed to later this year, of course, because of everything. And then I got an email a day later saying that it'll be delayed till probably next year if you were later on the list, which I'm guessing I am. I will not have a Ford Bronco that I was hoping to have actually probably a month from now when I signed up, to now it probably won't even be a year from now. So that's one of my personal predictions. I will not be driving a Ford Bronco, a white one, down LA's freeway anytime soon. What?
That would be pretty awesome. Pretty killer. No pun intended. Maybe intended. Number 2 for me is, and this is kind of things get into a little bit as serious as they can realm, is I have the Black Widow will release theatrically, but also on Disney Plus when it comes out in May. I don't think they're going to bump it again, I think. And that's going to be, I know it's been said that, you know, the vaccine should be widespread by then. I just think that that's the move.
Yeah.
To get this particular movie out. I don't think they're going to wait any longer. They've waited a year at this point. I just think that they'll do the same thing that they did with Mulan.
Yeah.
But they'll put it in theaters for the people who maybe have gotten the vaccine and they want to see it, or they have the ability to. But then I also think they'll throw it on Disney Plus for the $20, maybe even $30 premium.
I'd pay $30 for it if it was on there.
Yeah, I'd pay $30 for it too.
Right. Monopoly money.
Yeah.
Let me see which direction I want to go. I think I'll go this direction because it's more silly. I thought that the past year, 2020, was not a good year for a lot of things, but I think Razer commercials, it was not a good year for. I really thought about this because I was like, you know what I haven't heard of is like a 7-blade razor. And I thought maybe initially that was going to be my prediction, is that we were going to have a 7-blade razor. Then I searched the internet. There are 7-blade razors out there. They're not from like the major companies. So I think what it actually is going to turn into is like we're going to get hit heavy with razor blade commercials. Just all of them. The 7 razor, the vibrating head, one that squirt lotion on your face when you're shaving. Because I don't remember any this year. And I've watched the last week, I watched a ton of football because it was like college football and NFL, and I was just home to watch things for the first time. And I don't remember a single razor commercial. Weird that I thought about this. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I shaved my mustache this past year, and I was like, maybe it's gonna be like a trend towards more razor commercials. It'll be like an anti-beard trend. Somebody it's like notoriously known for having a beard that's famous will like shave his beard, and it'll just set the world on fire, and it'll be like GQ's
Galifianakis.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be like, this year's trend is no beard, and the razor companies are gonna just pounce on it. I think it's a big year for razors, and if any of them want to sponsor us, go right ahead.
Right.
Because I could use.
Dollar Shave Club.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I just use those like.
I wonder if that's possible. I use Dollar Shave Club razors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I use you get 100 in a box, and they last for like 2 shaves.
Yeah. No, I use Dollar Shave Club products.
Nice.
So,
well, sponsor us.
Plug them. Yeah, we'll be in touch. We'll just tweet at them until they send us a form like LaCroix did.
Yeah.
I sent that form in. Haven't heard back. Maybe I need to send it again. Number 3 for me is last year, 2020, at some point during a PlayStation event, there was a stinger trailer for God of War. I guess you could call it 2, but it would really be 5 because it is a continuity thing. But anyway, that it will release in 2021, and so my prediction is that there's no chance in hell that this game comes out this year. I just don't believe it for a second, especially with the fact that Sony already has Ratchet and Clank and Horizon Forbidden West lined up for this year. I just don't see it. I think it's going to get bumped to 2022. And then with that, I also have that I don't believe that Halo Infinite will make it this year. It was supposed to be a launch game for Xbox Series X. It got bumped the whole way to the fall of 2021. And I think that if the Cyberpunk debacle has shown us anything, it's that these companies should be more willing to delay games if they're not ready.
Yeah.
So I think that both of those... I never thought God of War was going to make it this year. I thought it was ridiculous that they said it was 2021. I just don't see it happening. But I don't think Halo will come out this year either. I think that's going to get delayed. So that's number 3 for me.
I think a lot of things are just going to get delayed this year based on... people are going to not want to put out a crappy product because it's kind of one of those things where like everybody can just do it now, especially if you release it on streaming, where it's like, oh, I'm bored and I haven't spent like money. I can spend $20 on this like movie, and so like everybody can kind of have access to it. So I think people are going to be, and people are also expecting things to be delayed. So I don't think you're like going to hurt anybody by saying like, oh, this movie's just delayed or this. I don't think anyone's going to feel any real backlash from being delayed. On my end of things, on the something not happening, I don't think any team that won in the 4 major sports is going to repeat this year, because we're not a big sports podcast, but I will like throw that in there. I could be wrong in a month with the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are the biggest ones. I think it's probably the Chiefs and the two. I'd say Chiefs if I'm going to go down the list. Chiefs, Lakers, Dodgers, Lightning. I think.
What sport is the Lightning?
Hockey.
That's not a sport.
Well,
continue.
The Ning Dynasty, I think it's what
the
they're
Ning
called.
Dynasty.
The Ning Dynasty.
No, that's not really.
I think that's what they call themselves. I don't know.
That's I don't. Are they a dynasty? Have they won more than one?
I think 2 years ago they had the most wins and the most points, and then I don't know.
That doesn't count unless you win a championship.
I don't know. Hey,
you're not a dynasty unless you win a championship. I'm sorry.
But I could be wrong in a month.
That's like saying the Pirates were a dynasty when they made the playoffs 3 years in a row. Get out of here.
Whatever with the Pirates. I'll tell you one thing. I can make another bold prediction. The Pirates will not win the World Series this year, or the next. I think I can almost guarantee the Pirates, if I live to 85, are not going to win a World Series the rest of my life. I will flat out guarantee. I'll jump. I've said this before that if the Pirates win the World Series, I'll jump in the Allegheny. I will fly back and jump in the Allegheny if the Pirates win a World Series in the next 50 years. No chance. No chance.
Yeah. Anyway, right. No, I think the Chiefs have a great shot. I think the Lakers have a great shot. I think the Lakers are better than they were last year.
I do too, and it's actually the one where I was like, yeah, but I feel like there's just that weird thing where everybody kind of thought, like, everybody's predictions were like for like the upcoming seasons, Dodgers are still going to be the best team. Lakers are still going to be the best team. And it's like usually when that works out. Also, it's really hard to repeat in any sport.
Yes, it is.
So it's just because everybody's has their eyeballs on you, and injuries happen. I mean, LeBron never really gets injured, but if AD gets injured, and baseball's insane. I think baseball might be the toughest sport to actually repeat in. And I think the Dodgers are awesome, but there's also just all it takes is 2 pitchers get hot and. It's, So
look at Bumgarner.
Exactly. Yeah.
Those few years. I actually had this I could have done 10 of these. I had like 7.
I actually had the cut. Yeah.
I don't have it on here, but just as a sports one, I think the Cavs are going to make the playoffs this year.
Sexland.
They may be the
Sexland.
Yeah. They may be the 7 or the 8 seed, but I think they're going to make it.
Yeah. They look good. Just been able to watch their highlights. They look fun more than anything.
They look squirrely.
They look like a team actually enjoys playing basketball, which that doesn't seem like Cleveland in the past few years and the Cavs. But yeah, it looks like they have fun playing, which is it seems weird to say this, because basketball is just fun. But it is weird when you watch like a basketball team play in the NBA and they are just literally not having any fun. It matters.
Yeah.
And and I think it's a good team going forward to like it'll definitely be a team that they're gonna make like the 7 or 8. It wouldn't shock me if they win like that first game in the playoffs too.
Yeah.
And then they get swept, but
they're feisty.
Yeah.
I think, like, no joke, this is gonna sound bonkers for anybody who follows basketball and knows anything about basketball players. I think JaVale McGee was the missing ingredient.
It doesn't. I mean, he's just the guy that does all those little things.
Well, he is that guy, but he seems like he's the hype man, and he's like the guy who, like, he was the final chemistry piece.
Yeah.
Just to get things going, to get things on the right page. And Darius Garland figuring out that passing is a good idea was also a good step forward.
Sure.
Number 4 for me strays into the realm of music. I think the Red Hot Chili Peppers will release new music this year, and that it will actually be good.
Whoa, that would be nice. I
got John back.
Yeah, here's the thing is,
and he's the secret sauce.
He is the secret sauce. He literally is the straw that stirs the mother's milk, and yeah,
indeed he is.
I'm excited. I mean, it's one of those things where like I'll always listen to a Red Hot Chili Peppers album, no matter how good or bad it gets reviewed or whatever. I'll still I'll give it a listen. I would like to just see them kind of go back to just being like Californication Chili Peppers. Like, why not? Why not just do that? Mm-hmm. No, you're not gonna take away from things. It's just like, oh, okay, just shut up and play the hits, but just make them new songs.
Yeah,
I'll go music next.
We'll
since we did that, I was gonna do like a wide ranging thing, but then I decided no, I'm gonna really narrow this down and just get all into this. I think Justin Timberlake is going to have a number 1 song this year. And I think the reason why I'd be like, wow, how's that going to happen? How is JT, who's been out of it for a while and having number 1 songs? I think he's going to do a collaboration with Biebs. Biebs is a number one, like, whether you not like the songs, which actually I don't really like the songs. Every time I'm like, oh, it's a new Justin Bieber song and it's number 1 and everybody loves it and I listen to it, I'm like, this song is not as anything close to like anything that was on Future Sex Love Sounds. I can't believe that it's number 1. And then I listen to like music I like that's new and I'm like, these songs are better, but whatever, that doesn't matter what I think. I think what's going to happen is Justin Timberlake's going to have a new album. He's going to have a song with Justin Bieber on it, and that thing is going to be fire. It might not even be a good song, but it'll be fire.
I have to say that the song that was nominated for Best Song of the Year by Justin Bieber, which was Yummy, could have been written by my 5-year-old.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, what do you think of those Cheetos? Yummy.
Yummy. That song's so weird. And like, it makes me
terrible.
Yeah. And I also want to like, here's the thing, like, you're not a pop music person, but I am. And like, there's no, it doesn't hold, that song does not hold anything to like anything Lady Gaga did or Ariana Grande did or Dua Lipa's. Those songs are so much better than that. I actually like Justin Bieber. Like, I've liked some of his music, but the stuff that actually has been popular is not good to me.
I like when he's, Shane Bieber and he's racking up K's. That's my preferred version of the Bieber. Number 5. Number 5. So this one is, I think that Twitter will not exist as we currently know it.
I hope.
By the end of this year.
It's
just
bastion
a cesspool.
Of gross.
Yes. Ugh. And I think that when all of the dust clears and everything settles down from the election, that there's going to be something that, and I think because Twitter to me is like Facebook is baby and cat pictures basically. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like that's what's Facebook. Sure. And Instagram is, I think, a more friendly place. Twitter is just a hellhole.
Yeah, it's so gross.
I'll be honest, like whenever we started, and I always say follow us on Twitter. I never post on Twitter from our podcast account. I very rarely post on it from my own. It's the worst, and I just think that it's going to go the way of MySpace.
It wouldn't shock me.
It'll exist, but it's not. Like, something's going to happen. It's going to get regulated. There's going to be laws, whatever. And Twitter's going to be the one that sees the most change, I think.
I think the thing that's made Twitter is that you don't have to have a face. And, like, Instagram, you don't have to have a face. But, most people do show themselves in some way, shape, or form. But, like, Twitter, like, I've had it's so weird whether they're bots or they're real people. When I was like when I really was tweeting there, I mean, I wouldn't even say something offensive, and someone would be like, "Well, F you," and I'm like, I honestly didn't even say anything that should have been like even. It was just literally not even an opinion, like a fact of something that was not even cited one way, and you're telling me to go F myself? I don't even understand what this means. So I hope so, because Twitter is, ugh.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible. So that's it.
My fifth one is geared towards more. So it's weird. Another thing. I was sitting around and I was thinking, because I got Janie's parents a new Apple TV, and I was thinking, you know what Apple doesn't actually have? A TV.
TVs.
I think this year we're going to hear, I don't know if it'll come out this year, but we're going to hear news that they are going to, and I'm going to go both on this. They're going to have a TV that will be like probably $9,000, but incredible.
Right.
And it will also, with this TV, will include some sort of like Apple gaming system that wouldn't totally it won't be like a revolutionary thing. It'll be kind of like what Nintendo, like it'll be like a lesser Nintendo version, but it'll just be something that comes with the TV as like an incentive to get you to get an Apple television and not an Apple TV.
You don't think it would be more like the Stadia or the Luna, where it's just a streaming app, basically?
It could be. It could be. I mean, that wouldn't shock me either, but I feel like there will be some sort of Apple movement towards that, because Apple's definitely going off the way of like Steve Jobs anyhow. Like, he never wanted that kind of thing, but it wouldn't really shock me if we you know, the next Apple event, we get like Apple TV, but different. And then it's like, oh, it's an actual like 60-inch screen TV that has like a remote that just looks like a piece of glass. And it'll, you'll cut yourself on it. You'll step on it, Brent.
Will you be able to be like Iron Man and you go, just show up on the TV?
It wouldn't shock me if they have some sort of technology that isn't that far off from that. Just because, but that was the one thing I was like really thinking about, because I was like researching TVs the other day, and I was like, every TV's literally the same. It's just the name that's put on it.
They're all smart TVs.
Right, they're all smart. They all look great. I mean, and they're all actually relatively the same price. Yeah.
That's the thing that I think, if this happens, is they'll be the first 8K, because I know it's a thing. It's out there. Because the new systems are able to play in 8K. That could be a thing. I'm just going to take. We're talking about, I mentioned Iron Man. I'm going to take a hard left here for a second.
All right.
Okay, and I'm going to give you the biggest plot hole of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You ready?
Yes.
Avengers Endgame. I'm sorry, Tony Stark's not hand washing dishes. He invented a robot that took over the internet. This guy's not washing and drying dishes by hand. I'm sorry, it's not happening.
That's when he's in like the cabin. And maybe he's like also a guy that like, since he's just like wanting to get away, he's either like, he's the guy, it's like, either I'm just going to tweet 25,000 times a day, or I'm just off the grid. Yeah, but he's got a simulator thing in the family room that can figure out time travel. Maybe his dishwasher was Ultron and he had some issues.
Oh. Number 2. No, we'll keep an eye on these things, and
I'm looking forward to being wrong in a month when the Chiefs win the Super Bowl. Right.
I think some of these will, like, one of mine is subjective, whether or not the Chili Peppers release good music or not, but we'll see. We'll tally it up on December 31st at the end of this year and see who was most right.
All right.
On our predictions. Number 2, we talked last week and we agreed that we were going to review Soul for this week's episode, so we both took that in. So this is going to be, I'm not even going to say rent bypass, because I feel like Disney Plus is pretty much ubiquitous at this point.
Yeah.
So it's either just going to be watch or pass. So watch or pass, Soul, the 2 main characters are Joe, which is played by Jamie Foxx, and 22, which is voiced by Tina Fey. So spoilers for Soul. If you haven't seen it and you want to check that out, I'll put it in the times in the show notes. But spoilers are incoming as I kind of review the plot here. Joe, as I said, voiced by Jamie Foxx, wants to be a jazz pianist in a big band. After he gets his big break, he falls down a manhole and apparently dies. On his way to the great beyond, he cheats death and winds up as a mentor in the U seminar paired with Soul number 22, voiced by Tina Fey. After some shenanigans, they re-enter Earth, but Joe winds up in a cat's body, and 22 is in Joe's body. And after some warm fuzzies, Joe and 22 get caught by death accountant Terry, who takes them back to the youth seminar. Joe takes 22's Earth Pass, rejoins his body, and is able to play in his gig, only to realize the music was not necessarily what he was put on Earth for. He heads back to the youth seminar and fulfills his promise to get 22 her Earth Pass after he saves her from being a lost soul. And obviously, as always, there's some extra story beats in there. But so Soul, what'd you think?
I really liked it. Like,
Yeah.
very early. And I mean, Pixar makes movies that are always great. But
Right.
I think I like this more than I've liked a lot of recent Pixar movies. I thought it was funnier. We were like both talking about how like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, these are... But it like made me laugh like right from the get-go. I mean, it is really hitting the
Right.
comic beats. I mean, Jamie Foxx he's a great voice actor with this kind of thing. He really knows, like, you know it's Jamie Foxx, but then you kind of forget,
Right.
which I like that
Yeah,
too.
sure.
And same with Tina Fey, like she kind of makes fun of her own voice in it, which is funny too. And
Yeah.
I just thought, like, I mean, right when he dies and he's taking the little trailway up to heaven, the whatever, and then he's like, "Why aren't you guys running?" And the one guy's like, "I don't know." And then there's like another person, "Where's my pants?" And I just thought that like whole thing was just so funny because like it is this like runway up, but it was really funny. And then it obviously has like the kind of ending that still kind of gets you, where it's like, oh,
Right.
It isn't just about your spark isn't just one thing or whatever. It can be,
Right.
which
Yeah.
it sounded weird. And I told James, like, I think it was like a movie that like wasn't intentionally made for 2020 being such a crap year for many people.
Yeah.
But it probably
Right.
made people feel better. Like you see that movie and you're like, I'm sure a lot of people lost their jobs. And like, man, this was my dream job and I lost it. And it's like,
Yeah.
it was a perfect movie for this year when it wasn't intentionally made for like knowing this was going to happen. And they had a cute thing at the
Right.
end about being 6 feet away and everything. But yeah, it was just, there's so many little notes. It made fun of the Knicks. That was awesome.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
I love when 22, like they show
I've
all
been
the
messing
people.
with these guys for decades.
Yeah, and Carl Jung was my favorite one where it's like, my unconscious brain hates you. It was so good. I thought that, I told Jay, I was like, I could watch that as just a movie. Just the interactions of
Right.
22 and all the people.
That, all of her mentors that she just broke down.
So good.
Mother Teresa, Abraham Lincoln, Muhammad Ali, Gandhi, Carl Jung, Copernicus. Very funny on that part. The other thing that was very funny was when he was trying to find her spark in the everything room, and she's just like, she seemed very obsessed with fire.
Yes.
So that was good. That was pretty funny. Yeah, I thought it was pretty funny. It was, maybe it's just like that I'm getting older and I'm a dad now, but these movies hit me in the feels a little bit more. And lately the Pixar movies have been really sad. Like I cry almost every time we watch Toy Story 3.
Yeah, I'm not a dad, and these movies hit me. I think it's just, I also think it's just a thing with age. Yeah, I think once you reach a certain point too, where you're like, especially like either you're by yourself or you're watching it with someone that you're comfortable being around. You're like, I'll just cry. I don't care. Like this, if this movie hits me, which this movie just hits you when it's like, oh, it isn't
right.
You don't have to be anything. It's just, it's just like boom. And it was just so. I think what made it perfect too is it was really, really funny, and then it hits you, and so you're laughing, and then you go 180, right. And it's like, oh, okay, boom.
Yeah, I thought it was a good length.
Yeah.
It was. It's listed as a runtime of 1 hour and 47 minutes, but there's like 20 minutes worth of credits.
Yeah.
So it's about 1 hour and a half, a little bit less. A couple other people jumped out in the movie. Dorothea is the band that he wants to play in. It's her jazz quartet or whatever. That's Angela Bassett.
Yeah.
Played her, and then the drummer Curly is Questlove.
Yeah, which they gave his real name, and I'm like, why? It sounds like Questlove, and then you're like, oh, it is Questlove. Okay. Yeah.
So, and he's obviously Jimmy Fallon's band leader and drummer for
the Roots.
The Roots.
Yeah.
Yes. Paul from the barber's office.
Yeah.
The barber's office.
Barber's office.
That's not a thing. The barber shop. Paul was David Diggs.
Yeah.
Who plays Lafayette and Thomas Jefferson in the stage play of Hamilton. That's also on Disney Plus. I love him in Hamilton.
Yeah.
I think he's the best character in Hamilton.
Yeah.
I think he steals the show. From
I think a
some
lot
of
of
the
people
other
felt that because he started getting more roles like
Yeah.
immediately after that.
Yeah. Well, in Hamilton, he plays the first act as a Frenchman, and he's rapping in French,
Yeah.
like with a French accent. And then in the second half, he's Thomas Jefferson. So I think his versatility is really on display there, but that's neither here nor there. The music, all the music on the piano was played by John Baptiste. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
He's Colbert's band leader.
Yeah.
And he and Questlove and David Diggs were musical consultants, but Trent Reznor did the score.
Yeah.
I thought the thing that I kept coming back to was when they were in the U seminar, which I thought was a funny name. The music really reminded me of this game that I played called Sound Shapes. And in Sound Shapes, it's like a 2D platformer, and you have to hit these. You go through the level and you hit these beats, and then that sound becomes part of the level's soundtrack.
Yeah.
And it really reminded me of that, the music. It was real trippy. I think that's probably where Trent Reznor had to do with, the score overall rather than some of the jazz pieces, obviously, because I don't really think that that's necessarily his wheelhouse. I mean, he's a musical genius, so he can do whatever he wants, but I think that kind of sounded maybe a little bit more like him. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I really liked it. It's worth noting that Soul had more downloads than Wonder Woman did on Christmas Day. Now, I think that in part Wonder Woman was in theaters, so I do think there's probably some people that chose that route. But I also think Disney Plus is just a more readily available platform than HBO Max. I know Roku doesn't. You can't even get HBO Max on Roku.
What?
So if you have a Roku TV, or that's how you do your smart streaming stuff, it's not available on there. We have it on Prime. Yeah, we have it on our Fire Stick, but if you have a Roku, it's HBO Max isn't available. So I do think that take that maybe with a grain of salt, and as far as those numbers go, but I think it did very well.
Yeah, as it should have. I thought it was a top level movie, animation or not. And
yeah, sure,
it's just one of those things. And it was funny you said it took like 20 minutes of credits. I always forget how many people it takes to make an animated movie versus a regular live action movie.
Right.
It's like, 500 people had to work on this movie just doing the animation. And then there's everything else that comes with making a movie.
Before I give my final thing, if you're an animation nut, if you find animation stuff really interesting, there's a podcast I listen to. It's called Knockback, and it's these two brothers, Colin and Dagan Moriarty. And I know I've mentioned Colin a lot on the show. His brother Dagan works for Sesame Workshop, and he's won Emmys for animating Sesame Street stuff. But in two separate episodes of their podcast, Knockback, which covers like retro and nostalgia stuff, the Lion King episode, which is pretty early on in the run, and then the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse episode, he really gets into like the nuts and bolts of
that's cool.
Like different animation and hand-drawn versus CG, and why Spider-Man looks the way that it does, and why it moves differently than a lot of other animations. And then in the the Lion King episode, just like kind of what the structure of like how animated movies are made. It's really, really fascinating if you're into that sort of thing. So I would recommend those. Like I said, it's called Knockback.
That's cool.
So it's a watch for me. It's short, and it's good. It's it's funny. It good animation, all the above. I don't have anything bad to say about Soul.
Yeah, no, like I said, I mean, you'll like it right. If you don't like it right from the beginning, then you have no soul. Because they get right into the plot. I mean, that's the thing I really like about.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing that always kind of hurts. I think like a lot of live action movies where they like, this movie has to be an hour or it's like 2 hours and 30 minutes. Like you don't even know what's happening. This movie is like before the credits, the opening credits. Like, okay, he's dead. Here we go.
I was shocked by that.
Yeah, right.
I was like, he's dead?
Yep.
All he did was fall down a manhole and he died?
Yep.
Like, how deep was that hole?
Yeah, it's really funny.
Yeah. Well, they kind of set it up because he, like, missed, like, 5 times before
he kept getting hit.
A car almost hit him, and, yeah.
It was good.
And then all of a sudden he just falls down a manhole and he's dead. I was kind of taken by surprise by that, but yeah, like I said, I don't have anything bad to say about this. I think it's a good way to spend an hour and a half on a Sunday afternoon or something like that.
Yeah.
For sure. So that is that. I don't think there's any more movies to look at for the next few weeks, so we won't have any of those reviews coming up.
I mean, we could like always go back and do like.
Yeah, we should.
We should do that because I think it's a fun segment to
not?
do. Maybe just movies we've
so.
agreed that both of us haven't watched or something.
Oh man, that's a small number.
It's a small number, but still, you never know. Yeah. There's always maybe just a weird movie that we never even either had the intention of watching.
We'll put it up on social media.
Yeah,
we'll put it on Instagram and Facebook, and not Twitter because Twitter sucks. But we'll put it on Facebook and Instagram and see just random shout out. What movie do you want to see us review, and then we'll agree on one. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
We'll see if we get any responses. So it's funny you mentioned, just sticking with this for a second, movies being 2.5 hours long, and they should have cut something. I saw somewhere that Warner Brothers wanted Patty Jenkins to cut either the mall scene or the scene that preceded that, where Diana was a child competing in that like Olympic style competition with the other Amazons. They wanted her to cut one of the two of them. I don't know which one you cut, but I think that cutting one of them would have been wise because that movie was just too long.
It was too long, yeah.
And I think that gives you, 5 or 10 minutes off the clock that, I think maybe you had seen some things about the mall scene was not really well received, so maybe that's the one you get rid of. I don't really have a preference, but I definitely do think one of those scenes it would have benefited cutting one of them for sure.
I probably would have cut the little girl scene because I don't really know if that was actually important to the movie. Like, it's not Wonder Woman.
It just showed that you can't take shortcuts,
right? Yeah,
and that's kind of the whole thing with Max and his whole situation. But
that's still, then if you take the mall scene out, that's 5 less minutes of looking at Gal Gadot. So that's where I'm at.
She really wasn't in it.
I know she wasn't. Yeah, but you do see her. I'll tell you the one thing I forgot to mention. I like the sliding that Wonder Woman does. No other superhero does. I think that's a fun move. Sliding into third base from, that kicks some ass.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, sliding into third base like Juan Pierre's trying to gun you down from center field.
Yikes.
Number 3, fast food chain KFC, and this kind of was funny. There was like a little bit of a foreshadowing there with your Apple prediction. Fast food chain KFC is launching a gaming console that warms up chicken. Quote, the chicken chamber will keep its content hot, ready for consumption during gaming sessions, KFC said. The company said the console was designed by a global hardware maker and could play top-level games like other gaming machines. It supposedly will run 8K 240 frames per second. There's no release date or price point at this time. This is apparently a real thing. Have you seen this?
I haven't seen it, but I'm
going to show it.
I'm going to look it up right now. It's because I kind of wanted to do this in the moment. I'm weirdly like... I'm really excited. Black. I don't understand why it has to heat up. Like, I do actually understand why it has to heat up chicken.
It has a chicken, It has a chicken chamber.
But it's so...
It just looks like a bucket.
I love it. It's just like this black... It's just a super...
It looks like a black KFC bucket.
Yeah, it really does. It's just a black KFC bucket.
At the bottom, there's a...
It's super funny. The KFC... The KFConsole. The
KFConsole.
Or is it the KFC console? I'm not sure.
KFC... KFConsole.
KFConsole.
This is, I guess this is a real thing.
It does look cool. I mean, I'm not going to say it doesn't. It's chic. I hope it's awesome. It's just like be like the best gaming console ever and heat up chicken and keep chicken warm.
I think that it's going to come out that this isn't a thing.
Yeah, probably. Or it's the Apple thing that I mentioned. It just is. They work with Apple, and it's the new thing, and it heats up chicken.
Yeah, you can get an Apple TV,
and it has a terrible battery.
Yeah. I don't think this is real. I mean, they say it is, but I mean, it's on Forbes.
Yeah.
For God's sakes, and there's like a.
Hey, KFC makes like logs for your fireplace that smell like their chicken. So.
Do they really?
Yeah. It's really hard to get. I've been trying to get it because Jane's parents have a fireplace, and every time it's like sold. It sells out like the PlayStation 5 does. Like the second they go online, it's just boom.
This is like back in the 80s when the 2600, the Atari 2600 was a thing. There's a great book called Console Wars, and it's by Blake J. Harris, Console Wars, and he kind of it's not about like the 80s or whatever. It's about the Nintendo, Sega, and then a little bit with the PlayStation in the 90s, Console Wars. But they cover like the 80s and like how everything kind of fell apart after the 2600 before the regular Nintendo came out. And a lot of it was because like everybody was doing their own thing. It was like you could buy a console that was made by like dad's dog food or whatever. And it just kind of flooded the market. And so the difference though now is that since you do have Nintendo, Sony, and Xbox that are more well established, I think a lot of these other, I mean, we talked about Stadia. It's only sold like 125,000 units or whatever. I think the same thing's going to come with Luna, the Amazon thing, and Stadia, and the KFConsole. And if Apple does, it's just such a, at this point, it's such a well established market. I think it's going to be really hard for some of those other companies to penetrate, even companies like Apple and Amazon who have boatloads of money to just throw around and that sort of thing. You have to come with something that's new and original and
warm
something
chicken.
that the other. Well, that's true. I mean, the PlayStation can't warm chicken.
No, it can't.
I will say that.
It does purify your air though.
Yeah, it is a great tower fan. I have it sitting here right in front of me. Scrawled on the side of it for some reason is "Thou shalt not kill," so that's weird.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, the KFConsole. We'll keep an eye on that and try to ascertain if that's a real thing or not. But we'll continue to do our due diligence on the KFConsole. So we'll see. Number 4, Cameo is an app apparently where you can get personalized shout-outs from celebrities for yourself or your friends, and it has a big winner in 2020, and that would be Brian Bumgardner, better known as Kevin from The Office. Nice. Bumgardner charges $195 per video and has sent out over 5,200 videos. Other top earners are Michael Rappaport, Gilbert Gottfried, Kevin O'Leary, Sean Astin, to name a few. I'm just going to say this right now. If anybody bought me a Cameo and it was Gilbert Gottfried, I would murder that person. Murder them in cold blood.
Yeah, like, is that a troll move? I mean, that's just one of those
I think so.
Weird, like, you just send it to, like, someone you don't really like. And like, here's Gilbert Godfrey, just being...
with that voice.
Oh, my God. So, Kevin from The Office, because I'm just going to call him that, because that is his real name.
Yeah, right. Sure.
That's his Baptist name. That's more than $1 million.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he made over $1 million on...
That's crazy.
On
I got
Cameo
Janie
in
a Cameo with this little weird dog that she likes for Christmas called Tuna.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with
Okay,
Tuna. Isn't
yeah.
it like the ugliest dog in the world or whatever?
Yeah. It has a big overbite. It is oddly cute too.
It's a Chihuahua? Chihuahua?
Yeah, it's a Chihuahua. It also, I got this package
Whatever.
where it came with like this really great stuffed animal and a calendar.
Okay.
And the video was good. I mean, they really did it. Like I told her when like we're watching them, like they went above and beyond I think it was like
Right.
$50 for the video, and like the whole package was
Sure.
like whatever. I'm not surprised that like that became a big thing this year because you couldn't do anything for people's birthdays or whatever.
Right.
So you're like, hey, I'll just do
Right.
this because I can't actually take you out to dinner or anything like that. So I am shocked that Kevin from The Office. I mean, that's sort of funny.
That is funny. Apparently, from what I read online, he puts like a lot of like time and effort. It's not just like him dressed up as Kevin going, "Hey,
Yeah.
happy birthday!" Like it's not
Spilling
like
chili.
he actually puts, yeah. He actually puts like a lot of like effort and takes pride into his work and stuff. The list of top, I know like a lot of people from the challenge do this. Like you can get like Johnny Bananas to do a cameo, or
Can somebody get
Wes Berman
Nani to do one
cameo
for
or
me?
whatever.
Just
Number
for the
6.
listeners.
I don't even know what number we're on.
Number 5.
No, but that's like, I don't think there's I don't think like Christian Bale's out there doing cameos or Leonardo DiCaprio.
How funny would it be if
Scarlett
like
Johansson.
Leonardo DiCaprio was doing it for like $25?
That'd be great.
And he like
I would
goes
do that.
hard into it too. Like
Yeah.
it's like the best thing he's
Yes.
ever done. It's him and
It's him in like Blood Diamond or something.
yeah. Oh
Yeah.
man, just giving
I
you
would-
the South
I would
African accent.
Yes. Rhodesian.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Wow, we say Zimbabwe. Yeah. No, that'd be great. If you could pick one person to do a cameo, who would it be?
Penelope Cruz.
Don't say naughty. Okay.
I love
Penelope
and
Cruz.
that
Wasn't she
accent.
in Blood Diamond?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
with that accent, and
Yeah.
Whew. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
it got hot real quick. Yeah, that would be awesome. I read a GQ article where she was like in the middle of Spain, and she took the writer out. She's like, I gotta take you to this place, middle of nowhere. Just takes him out for steak. And I was like, this is why I became a journalist. Like, that's the moment I need.
That's good.
No, that would be cool. What about you?
Oh, man. That's a tough one. We get a Cameo video from anybody. Who would it be? Anybody in the world. Ivanka Trump.
What?
Yep. Well, here's my thing: is do I get to talk? It's just a video.
It's just a video.
You don't get to,
Yeah, you don't actually get to talk to him or anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe not. Maybe not her then. Maybe Donald Trump.
Oh, he'd tell you how great you are.
He'd be great.
Yeah, it would actually be
so
funny.
Many people. It would be funny. Like him doing. He might. I mean, he may have to resort to this
he will.
in a couple weeks.
It wouldn't shock me at all. He's going to be like the biggest cameo star of 2021.
It was fraud. So many people. They believe. Many people. We've got loads of evidence. So much evidence. You're not going to believe it.
So much evidence. Today's your birthday. It's the greatest birthday.
Yeah. That's yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I don't have a real answer for that. It's like not Gilbert Gottfried. That's my answer.
Not Gilbert, anyone but Gilbert Godfrey. I would do it for $5 if people want me to do a cameo. I'll do it. I'll go hard too.
If you want to,
I'll go hard in on it.
Greg.
I'll give you the Leonardo $25 treatment for $5. Yeah. Or maybe I'll just like toast a martini glass like I'm in Great Gatsby.
Actually, you know what? I do know who I would want a cameo from. 100% Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh, that would be incredible.
And just him holding something real little.
Yeah. Hey, Breton.
That's your birthday.
Birthday.
It's your birthday. I got a kitten. There's a Shack Attack. Big Albatross. Big Aristotle. Whatever.
I won championship Charles never did.
That sounded more like my dad.
Yeah. Once I get deep, it usually does sound like your dad.
Yeah. Well, his voice wasn't that deep.
But it's just the way we do the mock-up.
Yeah, I know.
It's looking good over there. Yeah, we'll go with
empty. Number 5. There's a new trailer for the Batman. There was a new trailer shown at a DC fandom event. This gave us a look at the sadistic riddles for Paul Dabo's The Riddler, a full body image of Pattinson in the Batsuit, and the new version of the Batmobile to whet our appetites. The Batman is directed by Dawn of and War for Planet of the Apes helmsman Matt Reeves, and is slated to debut March 4th, 2022. Did you check this out?
I did.
Yeah, it's good. I'm really, really excited for this movie.
It was like that thing where, pre-Tenet, I told you, I was like, man, he's going to be good. But then you see Tenet, and you're like, Pattinson's awesome. This movie's going to be, like, I don't care. Like, I read something when I was looking for this. People were like, oh, I'm tired of DC movies being dark. That is what DC is in the Batman world. For the most part, there is some light stuff, but I don't actually like any of that. Make it dark and make it really weird. This one looks super weird, which I'm just all about. Like, it's beyond like just the crime fighting. Yeah.
Yeah, this is what it looks like to me. Well, first of all, let me say this. If you don't like dark Batman, go back and watch Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, and let me see if that changes your mind a little bit.
Right.
Because those movies suck. They're terrible. Okay, especially Batman and Robin. Batman and Robin is maybe one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
It's definitely in
that's
there.
Like not. There's no hyperbole. It's terrible. Okay, so chew on that for a second, and if you don't believe me, go back and watch one of them because they're bad. This looks like a Nolan Burton mashup to me. Yeah, it looks two parts Dark Knight, 2 parts Batman Returns, and I can't tell you how excited I've been. It's been a while since I've been this excited for a Batman movie.
Right.
And that's not to speak ill of Ben Affleck, because I've said many times that I really like Ben Affleck's Batman. This just looks different, and it looks really good. It's still, I think it's the music that they choose to use in these trailers. It still gives me Watchmen vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the same, the dreary sort of cover of the Nirvana song. But yeah, I'm very excited. I think Pattinson, the suit looks great. I know it's hard to tell from the trailers, but I've seen it in a still image. His emblem, his Batman emblem on his suit, is made from the guns that killed his parents.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the things about this particular Batman, which I think is really cool. I just think it's going to be awesome. I'm really excited for this.
I think too.
Paul Dabo is he's most well known probably from There Will Be Blood.
Oh right, yeah.
He is Eli, you boy.
Yeah.
I drink your milkshake. that whole scene. But he's like real creepy looking.
Yeah.
So I think he fits this role pretty well. I don't know what else he's been in other than There Will Be Blood. I know he's got one other big thing on his resume, but
I think what really got me about this particular trailer is, like you said, it goes back to Christopher Nolan, but also like I have no idea what direction this movie's going. Like because there's the thing where like one of the guys that kind of looks like a Joker deal is like, who are you? And then he just beats the crap out of him. Not like way more than like a normal Batman would. You actually like hear like the crunching of bones or whatever, and then he's like, I'm vengeance.
Right.
And like,
yeah, that was different.
Yeah, I know. It's like, whoa, this is a different Batman, which I like. I kind of liked that it was going that direction. And I mean, like, supposedly the Riddler's the villain, but maybe, I don't know. We don't actually.
Yeah, it's him and Penguin.
Yeah.
Colin Farrell's Penguin. I looked up Paul. Is it Dano?
Paul Dano.
Yeah. Paul Dano. Little Miss Sunshine.
Yeah.
He's the kid that takes the vow.
He's also done some directing and stuff since then.
Yeah. So that's him. He's creepy looking, so I think he fits that vibe real well. But yeah, I'm really excited for this movie. I can't wait to see it. I'm a little bit bummed that it's still over a year away, but that's to be expected with everything having gotten pushed back. So yeah, but we'll keep an eye on that as well. Keep updating with new trailers and info that comes out, et cetera, et cetera. I'm excited for Andy Serkis to be Alfred.
Yeah.
He of course was, we mentioned Matt Reeves did 2 of the 3 of the new Planet of the Apes movies. Andy Serkis was Caesar. Did all the CG for Did you like those? Did you see those?
Yeah.
The Planet of the Apes movies? Yeah, they're great.
Mm-hmm.
I like those a lot.
Yeah.
Definitely. Number 6, I mentioned there was no challenge episode, but we are also, it's kind of a light week, so we're going to do a little bit of a roundup and just kind of talk about the first 3 episodes and then some of the things that have been said in social media and take a couple challenge questions that we have. So the first 3 episodes, so it's challenge double agents, and they're in Iceland, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And they're quarantined to this, well, not quarantined, but they're isolated in the house. They're not going out. They built like a dome that they can go party in, basically, which I thought was funny. You did see during the 3rd episode, between the scuffle between CT and Josh and then Devin and Josh, the security guys have the face masks on. I was wondering if we would see that. And they do, the production team or whatever. So basically the theme of the season is they're like spies. And I said this in the first roundup whenever we did the first episode. They go hard with these themes anymore. I don't really like it that much. It just seems a little bit too over the top for me. But so they're double agents, and everybody got paired up in a team. And then when eliminations happen, if you want to pick a different partner, you can pick a different partner. So in the first episode, we saw Natalie take down Ashley, a 2-time champ, as everybody kind of painted a target on Wes and CT's back. Losing Ashley, I think, definitely helped CT, because that kind of took a little bit of the heat off of him. Plus, now he's with Big T, and she's not really a serious threat. No. So nobody's really targeting CT at this point. Everybody continued to try to go after Wes until he was eliminated in the 3rd episode, and then in the middle episode, Kyle took down Joseph, who of course showed up with no pants and was eating mustard, according to CT. So I mean, just first 3 episodes, there's been a few controversies or whatever. What do you think? I mean, do you have anything to say about the first 3 episodes before we hit on just these kind of bullet points?
I would say that the kind of the hatred initially for getting like Wes and CT out was just so boring to me. because
Yeah.
I thought that was like kind of weird. And to get Wes out of there, even though I like Wes and I've talked about how I actually really like Wes, I think it's funny to me that like that was like their number one goal, instead of just getting people that are actually like, not that like Wes and CT aren't good at the game, but like they're older,
Right.
And it's like I'd rather get people that are like actually like young and, you know, have a little bit more fire in their belly. As we noted with Wes, when he lost, he didn't have any fire in his belly when he lost. I mean, that was he was gone before that even started.
He had no heart.
Yeah, and so it's just like, and CT, I mean, he wants to win, but this is not your CT from, you know, 15 years ago that would just rip someone's head off. I mean, he seems so jolly in this. He's so funny. Like, this is the one thing I've taken away is like he literally is just like there for like comic fodder. And since no one even comes after him now because of Wes, I think A, his partner, and then B, like Wes being out of there, like CT might cruise into the final because people forget he's even there, and he's just going to be laughing his way to like maybe a championship.
Right. So in that second episode, we said, you know, Joseph, this new guy who was won America's, or I don't even know if he won, but he was on America's Got Talent, allegedly for jumping dirt bikes, but also, as Greg pointed out, for falling asleep and not paying attention. He called out Wes, and in the middle of that, you know, he said that one of the reasons that Wes should go is because he's rich and he doesn't need the money. And it cut to a confessional, and Darrell said something about how people who have money shouldn't talk about having money. That's why, you know, Wes doesn't have any money. Wes did tweet after that and say Darrell is right. He's jealous, but he's right. Ballers shouldn't speak about their wealth. But Joseph gave this giant speech about how he was voting for me because I'm rich. Half of it was edited out for time purposes. I had to lean into his argument and disarm it. And that was when he said, I am indeed rich.
Yeah.
So, and that's one of the things that we don't get sometimes. We don't get, you know, things are edited and we don't get the full breadth of it, but maybe it was more than we initially had thought. Same episode was when Kyle, Fessy decided to throw Kyle in. We kind of tore Fessy apart for it clearly being a physical challenge and him deciding to not go in because it was, quote, janky looking. He threw Kyle in because Kyle lied and said that he voted for Wes or whoever when he really voted for Joseph. He defended telling the others, Fessy defended telling the others about the double agents or power couple or whatever they're called this season, knowing about the votes because he did not want anybody else to have that advantage of it being secret in future eliminations. His tweets are private. Fessy's are? I think that's weird.
Well,
like, you have to follow him.
Yeah. That's
to be able to see
weird.
his tweets.
He probably, I mean, he probably knows.
It makes me wonder if something dumb, like something happened.
I'm sure he said something bad a few years ago, and he's like, "Oh no, I can't." People are gonna go backtrack on this, and there's got to be something weird. Because I actually like. Also, I'm not sure he's smart enough to know how to make something private on on Twitter. Like, you have to do like two extra
run into
steps.
this guy.
You have to do like 2 extra steps, and you'd be like, "Huh? Wait, I gotta click where?"
I hope A, Fessy never hears this, and B, you never run into him.
Because
he'll eat you like protein powder.
he probably will. But actually, what'll just happen is I'll just be like, "What's 2 + 2?" and he'll just stop in his tracks.
7. What's 7 times 8, Josh? What's 7 times 8?
I'll just drop off a book. I'll just like leave a trail of books, and he won't know what to do. He's like, "What are these? Are they bombs?"
Oh, segue. Here's the thing: is that was the first blow up of the season. Josh did say he felt bad for fighting with CT and Devin, but during that, Devin just repeatedly yelling over and over again, "Josh, what's 9 times 8? What's 9 times 8?"
So good.
And him not answering.
Oh man.
Josh is just he's got such a short fuse. He gets so emotional.
It's so weird how quick too.
Yes. And it's always, and you called it, you know, I said, you know, we saw in the next on episode that he was going to be in a blow up, and I said, "What do you think?" And you said it's going to be something dumb. Like who got the last cookie? Well, it was, you know, CT said something to Casey for not cleaning out the microwave because he wanted to make a pizza or an enchilada or whatever.
An egg quesadilla.
Quesadilla, my bad. And Josh confronted him and said, "Why are you making her cry? Why are you making her cry?" And that's what this huge fight was over.
In fairness, like
dumb stuff.
that's how roommate fights develop. Though it's never anything legit.
Sure.
It's always just like,
Yeah.
You know, what, you didn't clean this chair? Oh, I'm gonna kill you now.
Yeah.
Let's fight. That's how
it's always just like you're not really fighting over that thing.
No.
It's just all the tension builds up to that point, and then it becomes the straw that breaks the camel's back. And the funny thing is, like, you know, I think it was last season, Wes constantly saying that Josh is obsessed with him. And things like that. But you can tell that, like, he seems so childlike sometimes, and you can tell that he kind of like looks at Wes and CT like big brothers almost. You know what I mean? And he's got, like, he feels like he has to prove himself or whatever.
I was gonna say big brother. That's good. I was gonna say he's like the guy that wants to impress his dad. You know, and he looks at those guys like, oh my god, like, and if he doesn't, like, it like hits him so hard if he doesn't impress them.
Yes.
So it's just like he's just like, oh my god, I was supposed to be this and this, and look at me, I'm not. Yeah. Josh is. Josh is interesting.
Okay, so Josh won Big Brother, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Like, he won it, and I believe at least a couple of the other people that are on there from Big Brother, like Fessy, I think won Big Brother. I think Casey won Big Brother. Have you ever watched Big Brother?
No.
Neither have I, and I feel like
there's no math
these
involved.
These people are on
apparently.
It. Well, sure, but I feel like if these people are involved, like, it might be mildly interesting to me. And I know a lot of the seasons are on like Hulu backlog or whatever, so I may check out a season.
People have told me that I would love it.
It's all about
based purely on like everything else that I like. They're like, there's no reason like
sure.
They're like the Housewives and stuff like that, and you know I like
sure.
those shows, and they're like, it's basically that, except these people can't get away from each other.
Yeah. And I know there's some like competitive aspect to it because there's a winner. Yeah, I think maybe I need to check out a season, but we'll see. Melissa B writes in and asks, what's up with Kyle's teeth? They're too big for his face and way too white. They're like neon white.
Well, he can't help the size of his teeth, but the whiteness is intense.
It is.
Well,
he's not the only one. He's just it's just the most glaring.
Right.
Like, literally and figuratively.
He also is someone that smiles a lot. So that is like another thing. If you smile a lot, then you're going to notice it more. And he's got huge teeth.
Yeah.
They're very bright. He's just someone that literally, I mean, maybe they're, they could be fake. I don't know. Maybe that's what he spent like some of his MTV
Well, that's
money.
what they almost look like dentures.
It could be like veneers.
It's like, man, if you hit those things with a light and a watch, you're going to blind somebody.
Oh yeah. Maybe that's how he wins.
Maybe. Well, he won he got his gold skull.
Yeah, so he controls the final,
Joseph.
and he'll shine a light on his teeth, and then people are gonna try to walk across something, and they'll fall.
He did beat Joseph.
Yeah,
he beat Joseph.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that counts.
I don't think so.
Or not. John K writes it. It says, "Who, if you could pick OG people for the cast, who would it be?" I'm gonna be real honest. Like, my history with the challenge isn't as long as yours. I kind of started watching it. I mean, I've been watching it for probably 8 years or so, but I don't go the whole way. I mean, it's on season 36. I don't go the whole way back to...
I think I've watched... When I've looked back, I think I've watched 30 of the 36 seasons. Yeah. Beginning to end. Just because sometimes it's just not as easy to watch. I don't...
Right.
I don't know if there's a single thing, sports, and where the number one pick is so easy.
Yeah.
Alton. Oh. What? No.
No, not Alton.
It's Johnny Bananas.
He's not an OG guy though. This is the first season he hasn't been on in like years.
So we're going way back. Like
we'll just go back.
I thought that maybe I mistook this. I was just thinking like full cast. Yeah, Alton. If we're going way old school, Alton, Derek.
Yeah.
Derek was such an animal. Derek was like he's like 5'2", and he's just a little beast.
The season that Joss had to do, I think it was like a pole wrestle with Derek. Like, Derek came in as a mercenary or whatever, and Joss, was like twice Derek's size, and Derek got the hell beat out of him, but still somehow won because he's just a little angry pit bull.
Yeah. It was. I mean, Derek might be. I mean, it's been when you take like Bananas aside, Derek might be like the person where I watched it the most, and there's like he's not losing in one of these things. Like, no, he would lose, but you just had like it didn't matter what he was going up against. You're just like he'll either die or he'll win, which was also which was really fun to me. Like, he would not have went out in this the way Wes went out ever. There was not ever going to be a time.
No,
I
never.
don't care if it was his mom going against him. Like he is either dying or winning. He might actually be my favorite because the thing with Alton is that Alton's awesome, but he gave up too early and could have been.
Yeah, he loses.
He could have been Johnny Bananas. I mean, he really could have been. That, and he decided not to be for good and bad.
Yeah, sure. I'd like to see. I don't think that she'll ever be on again because her last season she made a boo-boo by saying something real racist to Leroy. But I'd like to see Camilla back because when she goes off, she goes.
Yeah.
It's like scary, but it's highly entertaining.
It is.
And she's good for one a season is the other thing.
Camilla
she's good for one a season.
God, she is something.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about...
Paula Walnuts. I was going
to say Paula Walnuts would be a good one. Oh, Mark Long. You remember? Super OG. I mean, he's just one of those guys. And, oh my God, we left out maybe The Miz.
The Miz, Mike
The Miz. Yeah, The Miz, just ultimate competitor.
Right.
These are fun. It's too bad, you can't get the... Miz will never come back to do this.
Right.
But it'd be cool if he did.
I'd like to get... No, he's too big for it now.
Yeah.
I'd like to get Frank from Real World San Diego.
Yeah.
Because he's just a mess of a person.
Yes.
So him. See, that's what I want. The people who are going to come in and be combustible,
Coral
not necessarily
would be a great mess.
Coral.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Anybody like that who's just going to come in and be a mess and just kind of what's her name? Hurricane Naya.
Oh yeah.
You remember her? She was Real World Portland. She's a mess. Anybody who just is going to come in and turn the house upside down with their behavior is because I think that makes more compelling TV for me.
Sure. Yeah, it's one of those things where you might just want more of an equal balance than having Alton on there and just have more of the people are just. It'd be fun to have a season where it isn't necessarily anyone's a really great competitor of the athletic stuff, but it's just all a bunch of head cases and just see what happens.
Definitely.
Oh my God, I would
Tony. Let's get Tony back.
Oh my God,
just get Tony back and feed him a bunch of booze.
Yeah,
because then he just makes horrible decisions.
It would be. I would love that season. I don't know what it you don't even have to give it a theme. Just be here's this group of people. None of them have won anything. They all have their issues, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, that'd be great. Last tweet that I wanted to cover is Johnny Bananas, his New Year's tweet. I think he tweets this every year. Can't believe it's already been a year since I didn't become a better person. That's my guy.
What a legend.
That is my guy. He was on the Ringer podcast here in the last few days or so. Getting interviewed by Billy Simmons.
He's great.
So.
He's one of the greatest just personalities in MTV's history, and he made it his own because he was okay on The Real World.
Yeah.
I mean, he was fine. He took on this whole thing about my nickname's Bananas, and he just kept going with it. If you would have told me 15 years ago that he would be what he is now, I probably would have said no. But he as we've talked about.
He got.
Oh no, go ahead.
He got eliminated in the first elimination of his first challenge, which is on Netflix. His first season's on Netflix.
That's incredible.
Let's check that out.
The thing that I'll say about him is he understands the game more than anyone ever has. As much as Alton's a better athlete or, whatever, is that
Wes is a better politician, probably.
Yeah, is that he understands everything. He's a good athlete.
Yep.
He understands the politics. He knows, he can read people so well. He knows immediately.
He can read.
He can read. Yeah, he can read. He can do math. He actually seems like a smart person. This guy actually probably graduated, high school with fine numbers and... he
I think he went to Penn State.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
That's a tough school to get into.
So, and he's but what also is funny about him is that sometimes when something's really good at something like that, you get kind of annoyed. I've never we were upset. One of our first things was I'm bummed that he's not on this show.
Yep.
Even if he'd be the odds-on favorite to win, you'd be I don't care. I don't care that Johnny Bananas wins because he's great.
I know he said the last season took a lot out of him.
Yeah.
All right, it is time for the return of Clip of the Week.
Woo!
Are you ready?
Clip of the Week.
I'm gonna give you what to search in the YouTube bar. Let me know when you're ready.
I am ready now.
This particular item was on Shark Tank. It should be known. You may have seen this. Type in Squatty Potty.
Squatty Potty.
Yeah, SQUATTY
Commercial?
potty. Yep, and then go. This is the first one.
The unicorn changed the way I poop.
Yep. Yes.
Oh my god.
This is where your ice cream comes from. Creamy poop of a missing unicorn. Totally clean, totally cool, and soft served straight from a sphincter.
What?
They're good at pooping. But you know who sucks at pooping? You do. That's because when you sit on the
That-
throne, it's muscle to kink in the hose and stops the Ben and Jerry's from sliding out smoothly. Is that a problem? I don't know. Are hemorrhoids a problem? Sitting at this angle can cause hemorrhoids, bloating, constipation, and a bump. And seriously, unicorn hemorrhoids? The glitter gets everywhere. But what happens when you go from a sit to a squat? Voila, this muscle relaxes and that kink goes away faster than Pegasus May's sweet sherbet dookie. Your colon's open and ready for that. That's because our bodies were made to poop in a squat, and now there's a product that lets you squat in your own home. Introducing the Squatty Potty. No, Squatty
Oh
Potty is
my
not a
god,
joke.
it's just a
And yet,
footstool. This is
the
so
best part of your life,
incredible.
I don't mean you bloated lords and hemorrhoidal ladies. I mean,
Good.
Well, I mean, this video, like the internal of the unicorn,
can't get the last scoop out of
is
Squatty
insane.
Potty, you get complete elimination.
Oh my god, it's so weird.
Squatty Potty.
People have to watch this. We want you to watch all these clip of the weeks, but this is...
Maybe you're sore from squeezing out solid globe.
And it keeps going. It's such a long commercial.
It's like 3 minutes long. Yeah, you can cut it off, whatever. It's like 3 minutes
It's...
Plus, when you're done,
There's
it
a
must
shorter
be
version
outside.
somewhere. So this was on.
And you can just put
this
it
was
right
on
underneath
Shark
your
Tank.
toilet. It perfectly fits there. Wow.
Yeah.
It's literally a
Well,
footstool.
You know, it's going to help you, give you a better angle
Yeah, better angle.
at which to do your business.
I think
So
too much
I
science.
mean, the real fun in it, yeah, the real pleasure of this is obviously the I don't know. He's like a duke. I don't know. He's like a medieval something. He's got a unicorn. The unicorn's poop and glitter. It's just the whole nine. So it was on Shark Tank, like that's so
it's a great invention.
it's something. Quick hitter time.
I'm still flummoxed. I won't be able to unsee that for a while.
Okay, quick hitter time. PS Plus and Xbox games with gold lineups have been announced for January 2021. Xbox games with gold will be giving you Little Nightmares, Dead Rising classic offering of King of Fighters 13 and Breakdown. PS Plus will offer PS5 users exclusively the Shark Attack Simulator Maneater. I can't wait to play this. You play as a shark and you eat people.
That sounds awesome.
That's it. It's already downloaded on my PlayStation.
Sounds incredible.
PS4 titles Shadow of the Tomb Raider and action RPG Greedfall, which will both be playable on PS5 via backwards compatibility. As always, add these titles to your library even if you do not intend to play them right away, as they may tickle your fancy at a later date. Yeah, I'm definitely going to play Maneater. I can't.
That sounds so fun.
But the other thing is too is with Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider was free PS Plus game 6 months ago. So now I have both of the new Tomb Raider games. I wonder if we're going to get an announcement about a new one. I wouldn't be surprised.
Seems like it. That kind of
Michael B. Jordan set to direct Creed 3. How do you feel about that?
I mean, it's his directorial debut. That's cool.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that his first?
Was Ryan Coogler just not available? I mean, I feel like that's kind of odd that Ryan Coogler's not going to direct it.
Well, he's doing
Black Panther
too.
Yeah, so I guess they were going to run together. I mean, it feels at this point this feels like Sylvester Stallone directing. It doesn't. It's like a correlation. It's like, here we go, we're running parallel.
Yeah, kind of.
Which
he's not going to be in it. I know that. I know Sly's not going to be in it as well.
Yeah. Which is fine. I like the first two movies. The first one was awesome. Second one's good.
Yeah, the first one's great. Second one's perfectly fine.
Yeah. I feel like that's probably where we're going to go with these Creed movies. They're going to be like the Rocky movies where the first one's awesome. And there's probably going to be another one, whether it's 3, 4, we don't know yet. But one of these next ones, the next 2 or 3 is going to be probably great too. And then they'll just kind of be with us for the rest of our lives. We'll still hear
sure.
and then there'll be a new boxer that Michael B. You know, just
Let's hope not.
I guarantee it's
I don't.
20
I
years
don't-
down the road, Michael B. Jordan will be training another boxer because these kind of things never die.
I don't need that. But
No one does.
No, I like the first two, but like you first. Well, that was the thing, was we probably didn't even need these, but the
Right.
first one's awesome, and it got Sylvester Stallone got nominated for an Academy Award. I think he should have won, but he did not for Best Supporting Actor. But yeah, the Creed movies are great. I mean, the first one's great. The second one is good. Stanley would have turned 98 this past week. 98.
Man,
Stan the man.
Stan the man. The reason why we're sitting here together is because of Stan Lee. I'm not, I know like that's
Big part of it.
Yeah, big part of it. It's a bummer he's no longer with us, but what he gave us, man, it's incredible.
And he lived a full life.
He lived the fullest
a
of
full
life.
for sure.
I mean, everybody kind of was like, oh, he lost a lot of money because of like the way his deal was with Marvel and stuff like that. But
Right.
if you would have told him you're not going to have this, but you're going to have this, I think he still sticks with what he got because man, that guy
Yeah, I
loved
think so,
life.
too.
Yeah.
There's a Stan Lee Easter egg in Spider-Man Miles Morales. Well, he makes a cameo in the 2018 Spider-Man game. He's like he runs like a pizza place or whatever, and then in Miles there's like a statue of him outside the same restaurant.
So good.
Spoilers, but whatever. Speaking of Spider-Man, the current run of Spider-Man, of the Amazing Spider-Man comics, Spider-Man will be getting a very weird new suit. Did you see this suit?
Yeah, talk about haunting my dreams with that.
I'm going to show you two images.
Ugh.
Okay.
It's so weird. Why?
It's gray. It's like gray and gold.
Yeah.
Right?
With like weird eyes, man.
It's new. I don't know if it's out yet, but okay. So you've seen it.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
So you're looking at it right now. Okay, I'm going to show you. This is what it reminded me of instantly. I'm going to show you this picture. Here, I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to do the share, Johnny. This is what it reminded me of. 100%, this is what it reminded me of.
Oh yeah, it does look like the land jersey. Whoa,
Yeah, so the NBA does the
that's so
the city
weird.
jerseys, and it reminded me instantly of the first one that they did when LeBron was still on the team, of the land, and it's like yellow and gray.
That's odd.
Those jerseys were
Yeah,
hideous.
they're terrible.
And so is this new suit. But here's the thing is, I guarantee you when Spider-Man 2 comes out for whenever in on the PS5, this suit will be in
Yep.
it. Guaranteed.
Sure.
100%.
Yeah.
Because they have all the
Evolve.
suits.
And it has people talking. Like if this is just a normal suit, nobody cares. So
Yeah, sure. So we'll see. Last one here. As part of, this is wild to me, as part of the COVID relief deal that was signed by the House, the Senate, and eventually by the President, one of the provisions is that the U.S. has 180 days to disclose what it knows about unidentified flag objects. What the?
what does that have to
What?
correlate with anything is hilarious to me. Also, like they better release it. Give us your information. Tell us the aliens.
There better be something.
I've heard articles this week where
worthwhile.
like, yeah, there were aliens here last year and then they left. And it's like, what? We're just,
Yeah. There's all this wild stuff coming out just in the last few weeks about like different space things. Like there's apparently a bubble surrounding the Earth of
I love it.
like some type of like radio waves or something.
If we're going to get the Avengers assembled, I'll definitely take on the Steve Rogers role. I'll have no problem. Inject me with some of that Captain America syndrome, like serum, and get me all jacked. That'd be fun. As long as I have the shield. Yeah.
Sure.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I don't know.
I wonder how long it takes you to figure out how to like.
There's
Because that's the one thing that always kind of I love those movies is like Captain America's he's so good with the shield immediately, like he knows how it bounces
right.
and brings it back, and it doesn't have any like magnetic
Yeah,
field.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just the physics are.
That doesn't obey the laws
He
of
just
physics at
knows.
all.
He just understands it. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Not that I care. It's awesome.
We'll throw this one in here. Michael Keaton is confirmed for Flashpoint. He's not. He went on the record. He's not going to be in the Robert Pattinson thing. They don't have anything scheduled for him beyond the Flash movie. He is going to make an appearance in the Flash movie. Michael Keaton, of course, 1989. Some would argue their favorite Batman. I would not make that argument.
I mean, I actually like Batman Returns better than I like the original Batman. Yeah.
It's so messed up.
It's a
such
super.
a
It's not
weird
even really a
movie.
Batman movie,
It's
which is
just
sort of funny.
so-
It's more of a Penguin,
Yeah.
Catwoman. I mean, the Catwoman stuff is so. They're both weird. It's super weird.
It's bizarre. The Penguin
Yeah.
stuff when he's eating the fish and everything. Danny DeVito is just strange. Ben Affleck is also going to be reprising his role as Batman in the Flash movie, so it's going to take on the Flashpoint paradox timeline, storyline, whatever. So yeah, I think
It's cool. I mean, I've seen Michael Keaton.
anytime we can get Michael Keaton.
I just
in
saw
anything,
Michael
he's
Keaton like
great.
2 weeks
I
ago
love Michael
outside
Keaton.
the restaurant I worked at. He came and got pizza. That was cool. So, little Michael Keaton note.
That's good. Little Western PA connection.
Yeah, I saw him throw out a first pitch
Michael
at
Keaton is-
Pirates game too.
Famously a Pittsburgher. He was the reason why Jason Bay started that All-Star game.
Right.
If you
Yeah.
recall, he went on this the All-Star game was at PNC Park, and he said, we've got one of the best outfielders in baseball, and it's ridiculous that he's not going to start the All-Star game in his home stadium. But yeah, Michael Keaton's great.
Man, Jason Bay was good for like that 1 year.
He was good. I mean, he had some good years for the Bucks. That's one of those things, though. Like, it's one of those things. Like the Pirates, their best players always like Brian Giles, right?
Oh,
I know we're getting off topic.
Aramis Ramirez.
Brian Giles. Well, but here's the thing about Brian Giles. Brian Giles was the best player that Pittsburgh had for like 3 years. Brian Giles couldn't get on the field for the Indians.
Right.
And that's why he played for the Pirates, because they made a trade for, I think, Ricardo Rincon, if I'm not
Oh
mistaken.
man, Ricky.
Little Ricky. But that was the thing, was he was, like, Brian Giles was the man for the Pirates. Brian Giles was the fourth outfielder for the Indians. Because they were rolling with David, There Will Be Justice.
Oh yeah.
And Manny Ramirez and Kenny Lofton. Or Marquise Grissom. I can't remember when that trade got pulled off, but either or. Brian Giles.
Here's your
also
early
had an
2000
anniversary.
baseball talk. Brought to you
Yeah,
by
yeah.
Tops.
Brought to you by LaCroix. As always. Listen, that's just one of those things, man. You could get me talking about, like, there's a few things that you could get me talking about, and I could just go on forever. And one of them is late 90s to early 2000s baseball.
Oh, sure. I mean,
I can have that conversation all day long.
You get me going on that. You get me going on, like, if we just want to go back and just discuss the 1995 Mariners, that whole run. That's like the Glenn
Right.
Griffey Jr. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, they lost to the Indians.
yeah, yeah,
In the playoffs.
But they beat the Yankees with Griffey coming
They
in.
had those the refuse to lose
Yeah.
signs. You remember those?
Yep.
And then Cleveland printed ones that said "refuse this."
Yeah, that was
Great marketing.
Man, they had some. That was a rough bullpen. Holy cow! Good starting staff, but man, you got to the bullpen. There's Randy Johnson, Jamie Moyer, Jeff Facero. Who else was it? Mike. I can't remember. Fourth starter. Bam! You got to the bullpen. That was just. That was rough.
Let's do our media recommendations before
let's do it.
The listeners decide to turn it.
They'd be like,
us
"Wait,
off
this
as
is
we're
a
talking about-
1990s baseball podcast." I should have been listening
Yeah,
all
we're talking
along.
about a lot of stuff that nobody cares about. What are you getting into?
Okay, so book wise, I got this for. I'm gonna show it just because whatever, it doesn't really matter.
Ron
but
Burgundy.
Big Max and Burgundy. It's a really cool book. It's if you're new into wine, or even if you're like been into wine for a while, it's cool. It's cool introduction of like how to pair like everyday food, because you're not going to just always have steak. You're not always going to have like something fancy. Big Max and Burgundy of Vanessa Price with Adam Lukoff. It's really cool. I mean, there's real pictures, but the artwork's really cool. It's like a deep dive too. Like here's just an Oreos and cream sherry, and it is a long paragraph about what to have with it, and it gives you the recommendations based on price too. So you can really go really hard into it. So I think it's a cool pick to start the new year. And I know people do dry January. This is a year you got to still support your local businesses. So if you can, go to a brewery and get some stuff for takeout or wherever you should, because you want to support local places as much as you can, and just keep it in your fridge for a month. But yeah, keep supporting local businesses. Music wise, I am still just listening to what I've been listening to. It's Sturgill, it's Taylor. and I realized that I listened to 59 hours of Sturgill Simpson last year. So, and 49 hours of Taylor Swift.
Right. I'm still reading Ready Player 2. I'll probably have it done by next week, so I might be able to talk a little bit about that. If you wanted to do that, that's up to you. It's fine.
The first one's so good.
Yeah. The first one's really good. Yeah, I'll speak more on it whenever I finish it. But and then I'm playing. I did get 2K.
Nice.
I did get NBA 2K, so I've been playing that. I've also got Sackboy's Big Adventure, which is a 3D platformer in the same vein as like Mario 64 or whatever. It's from Sumo Digital. It's PS5 exclusive. Sackboy is kind of like a failed PlayStation mascot from the Little Big Planet games. It's fun. I'm hoping to. I platinumed Miles Morales, so I'm hoping to do like a video on that for the YouTube channel. I did say I was going to do it, so I'm going to do it. And then I think the second one will either be Sackboy Big Adventure. I kind of have it in my head how I'm going to do these videos. So Sackboy's a strong candidate, but I also want to do one for Maneater, and I'm definitely
Maneater, yes.
So yeah, my wife wanted to throw out that she watched and really liked this Netflix show Bridgerton.
Oh yeah, people are loving this. Yeah, I'll definitely get into it at some point.
Yeah, she really likes it. She said she might watch it again. She's finishing up The Queen's Gambit, so. But other than that, I don't really watch a whole lot of TV or.
Having Janie, she's in the 8th season of Seinfeld, where it just goes completely off the rails.
Just completely nuts.
It's great,
yeah.
and it doesn't take anything away from like those. But it is just like every time I get ready, like we start this episode, and I've seen all these, like I've said hundreds of times. I mean, this is not even. This is not joking, and I'm like. 2 minutes in, I'm like, oh my god, the ending, whatever. It doesn't even matter because it's a season 8. Wait till you get to the ending. Like I tell her, just like it goes so absurd. She loves it. I mean, it makes me very happy that it's cool to watch something like Seinfeld, where I've seen it so many times. To watch it with someone that's watching it for the first time,
never really seen it,
and it still holds up so well. Other than like the clothing, really. That's the thing when we've talked about the shows before, but it holds up. Like the jokes there's nothing else really there because cell phones aren't necessary because they just keep showing up anyhow. They just pop in, so you don't need to call people, let anyone know. Yeah, but that's a media recommendation from Janie is that Seinfeld is still awesome
and forever will be. BXG Podcast publishes every Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Pandora. And other podcast services. Follow us on Instagram at BXG Podcast, at Twitter at BXG Podcast. Don't follow us on Twitter. There's no point. I never
don't follow anyone on Twitter. Let's get off Twitter. Make that your New Year's resolution.
Let's make my bold prediction come true. Follow me on Instagram at Y2B, WHY2BEE. Follow Greg at GTFills. And check us out on the Facebook page, facebook.com/BXG Podcast. We will put it out there for what movie we're going to recommend. We'll just do some random old one that we both. It's going to be real hard to come up with something that we both haven't seen. I could say that right now.
Yeah.
So
or it's just like, or we do a movie where we both have seen it, like American Psycho. We just talk about how great it is. We can also do that.
Yeah. The other thing though was we were going to do our episode about our extra episode this month is going to be our top 10 action and drama movies. And I don't know if I want to do like a movie like that because I know American Psycho is going to be on both of our lists. So I don't know if that's something that we want to talk about, but we'll figure out something. We'll do some random review next week of some crazy, like we'll do the Avengers, but it won't be the Marvel's The Avengers. It'll be the Avengers, the British spy movie from like the 1990s.
I've actually seen that,
or something.
But I don't remember it.
So I saw it. Listen, I saw it in theaters. I saw that in theaters.
I may have seen it in theaters. I don't remember now.
Yeah. So it's not good. It's pretty bad, but we'll figure something out, but we'll do it. But that's it. So tell your friends, tell your family,
tell your mothers
about the unmistakable essence of the BXG podcast. But seriously, tell people because we're trying to grow.
Yeah, seriously, tell them. And
the numbers have been stagnant, and we're trying to improve.
Yeah,
things.
I mean, this is what we really want to do, and we have fun doing it. And I think as long as if we could reach more people, I think they'll have fun listening to it. And
for sure, it's a different energy today since it was in the afternoon / early morning for you.
Yeah. Well, I'm like
So
actually like a little bit more awake because I just came off my run and
sure,
you know.
I'm pretty much the same all the time, like a flat line on the heart meter. Okay, well, take care, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Thank you guys, appreciate it.
This is where your ice cream comes from. The creamy poop of a mystic unicorn. They're good at pooping. But you know who sucks at pooping? You do. That's because when you sit on a porcelain throne, this muscle puts a kink in the hose and stops the Ben and Jerry's from sliding out smoothly. But what happens when you go from a sit to a squat? Voila! This muscle relaxes and that kink goes away faster than Pegasus laying sweet sherbet dookie. Now your colon's open and ready for battle. That's because our bodies were made to poop in a squat, and now there's a product that lets you squat in your own home. Introducing the Squatty Potty. No, Squatty Potty is not a joke. And yes, it will give you the best poop of your life, guaranteed. Kink, unkink. It's simple science, really. Plus, when you're done, it tucks neatly out of sight, thanks to its innovative, patented design.